boobs.
Your soul is mine.
Boobies.
Marvel Milkers.
This is a warning to all living mortals. That who shall ever open this chest of demons will release 13 of the most terrifying ghosts upon the face of the earth. Okay, cut it. This isn't going to work. Let's try some nostalgia bait.
It's smiling strange. You looking happily rain. I can't settle this in bed. Or have you picked your target yet? It's ending. Don't your dog bite? It's ending.
Okay, that was better. But let's try something a bit more cinematic.
Hey, where my broken arrows at? They try to tell us we can't fly. Like we too broken or something. I mean, I'd rather let them know. Hold up, hold up, hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up, hold up. My squad about to roll up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Hold up, hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up, hold up. My squad about to roll up. All the way up. Get them balls 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 all the way up. Broken arrows get bows up. Sometimes I pray with my nose up. Thinking about when the world crumbles and my whole squad just goes up. Ain't gotta worry, we straight like an arrow. Yeah, ain't gotta worry about faith. Nope, I'm on that straight and the narrow. I'm on that straight and the narrow. Yeah, I just go straight like an arrow.
Yeah, that's the shit I like. Let's start the Barroom podcast. Take it away, Jacob.
Hello, ladies
It's a
and
whole
gentlemen.
chicken by myself, just like that.
Good night, everybody. I didn't have the button ready, so I got too many buttons up. I would have just ended the show right there. But no, we're here. It's episode 112 of the Barroom, and I got all my friends here joining us for a whole bunch of random topics here today. It's gonna be a very random episode. It'd be like a scatterbrain, hot topic. It's almost like an around the horn, except for it doesn't suck. But joining us here tonight is our good buddy Cider. How you doing tonight, Cider?
I ate a chicken.
Yeah. And you have the right voice this time, so there's the other one, right?
That's even better. But I ate a chicken.
Just a singular chicken?
Just a chicken. I ate a chicken.
Okay, certainly well. Orange Chat, how's it going? Orange Beanie?
That's not the chicken I ate. That is not. No. That's not the one.
No. Would your chicken happen to have hatched a Cadbury egg? Is that the chicken that you ate?
A Cadbury egg full of ghosts
or demons. Rob, do you like chicken or eggs?
No, I switched to sativa, so this conversation is making me really pissed off. But I'm doing well, everybody. I hope you are doing well. And I really have nothing to say to that. I like chicken. I like chicken in many different forms. Eddie Brock, please save us from this conversation.
I'm just here.
Oh wait, I'm not supposed to do that. My bad.
No, he's baked like an egg, man.
I'm just over here being.
I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Hey Eddie, how you doing?
Yeah. All right.
Lovely. We are live here tonight on Twitter, on
Bring the big energy.
Dude.
we're live on all the
chicken and
things.
eggs. It made me hungry. I just fucking had the munchies a couple of minutes ago. I mean, yeah, let's get the show on the road.
All you damn potheads. Just I don't know what to do with you people. Let's go ahead and introduce our people who are in the chat with us here tonight. Neozoic's joining us here saying, howdy, barroom crew. He asked his first question here. I feel like Rob is going to be the only person to answer this question. What would you rather watch, a fistful of dollars or a few dollars more, or a good, bad, and the ugly? So I guess there's three options there.
I mean, the best out of the bunch is the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, the score is incredible. I mean, I just watched it not that long ago, so but yeah, for a few dollars more is really good as well. But yeah, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Definitely my choice.
Do any of you guys watch old movies?
I'm very familiar
Arsenic
with this.
and Old Lace. I mean, I've seen that, but I haven't seen.
Hey, I saw a old movie once.
Unsinkable Ship. I saw that.
The
Streetcar Named Desire. I've seen that. I just haven't seen these three.
Rob's right that the good, the bad, and the ugly is the best out of these, but I would say that a fistful of dollars is the one that'll probably like steal your breath the most. They were really punching above their weight limit with that movie. I really felt like that we got to send a message with this cowboy guy thing. Because you got to remember, that movie kind of bucked the trend of the singing happy cowboy that comes to town and says, hey, mister, you can't do that to these people. Here came Clint Eastwood with his like mashed up cigarette that was barely alive, and he's just chewing on it through the movie. He doesn't say a damn thing. He certainly doesn't sing, and he's got no kerchief around his neck. You know, and that's a pretty big statement considering this is 1964. What they were doing was Grindhouse before that was ever really a thing.
Yeah, it's
a
Grindhouse remake of Yojimbo by Kurosawa. It's the same story. It's Bruce Willis was in a remake in the 90s, Last Man Standing. It's the same thing. It's the same story. Yeah. Drifter pits the two criminal elements against each other and frees the town. But yeah, it was the first of the Clint Eastwood, Sergio Leone spaghetti westerns. And certainly, look, there are things about it like the dubbing. The dubbing is bad in all the movies. The dubbing is bad. This one though, it's the worst. And this little kid is crying is terrible. Like it's just a terrible dub of that character, and it's just because it's a little kid. It's really annoying. But no, it's like all three of these movies I own all of them. And definitely check them out if you like westerns and like revisionist westerns, spaghetti westerns. Definitely good ones.
Well, and that's just it. My father was obsessed with them, so I've seen almost every one there is out there. I mean, like even the old Bat Masterson shows, I've seen that stuff. It's just, I hate cowboys, but I know so much about them.
Yeah, I find it absolutely fascinating because like there's nobody does westerns anymore. Nobody goes into like the sort of milieu of the all the thematics and the hero, the drifter, all of that stuff is so interesting to me because it's the milieu that created the crime film, which is my favorite type of movie. So I find it just super fascinating. And I came out with my westerns list like a couple months ago, and spaghetti westerns, revisionist westerns are in there as much as the traditional ones. So I've definitely come to appreciate the genre a lot.
Look what happened the last time somebody tried making a western. They killed somebody.
Well, the problem is that we're going too hard with the westerns. We're talking very flowery about Eastwood's westerns, but really they started a trend that's behaved into today where it's just too hard. It's just too hard. Yeah, the Old West was difficult, but they laughed sometimes. Sometimes they threw kids into rivers to teach them how to swim. It wasn't always, I gotta catch that train. Those motherfuckers killed my family, raped my wife, and burned my house down in front of me. It's not, you can't run a Western, even like a whole genre like that. You gotta have the singing cowboy occasionally. You gotta have the jackass that doesn't take things seriously occasionally.
The outlaw Josie Wales, is that what you're referencing there? Because he's a Confederate soldier.
The Sundance Kid movie there with the Gene Hackman.
Robert Redford and
that one about way back then, where they were like it got that like they got to kill people, kind of like you got that they were doing that, but they didn't take it seriously at all. It was like a joke half the time that they were killing people. So
Yeah.
You gotta have that.
And that-
You can't have that hard cowboy shit all the time.
Well,
Yeah,
you know
no,
the
and I
best-
agree, and that's why I like traditional westerns, because it has a more humanistic side to it, where even if there's killing or death, it's like, oh no, like you don't get away with doing terrible things without any consequence. You know, you
Right.
have to kind of own up to that. So, yep.
Well,
I will say my
let's
favorite
just be
Western is Dead
honest.
Free Rides Again.
Let's just be honest. The best Western out there is Blazing Saddles.
It's very funny.
No.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's good. It's a good comedy movie, sure.
I
I
mean,
have a
am
question for you,
obviously being
Cider,
facetious.
in a bit here, but I do have a bonus question here from Neozoic. It says, how would you rank the best to worst Alien sequels and prequels? So here's how I what.
So, okay, we're talking about all the sequels to Alien then.
Yeah, so basically all of them except for the first
Sequels and prequel. Yeah.
So,
All right,
Aliens is the best. Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, I go Romulus, I guess, and then Prometheus. I have not seen Covenant.
I would go Aliens, Alien
Well,
3.
that's best to worst, but
Oh, from worst to best? Okay, well, in that case, it'll
Oh.
be Alien
Worst to
Resurrection.
best.
Yeah,
Learn to
Alien
preach, you
Resurrection. Prometheus, Romulus, Covenant, and then the good ones. That's how I'll rank it.
For me, Covenant. I hated Covenant. I really fucking hated that movie. Alien 3, Resurrection, Prometheus, Aliens. So yeah, Aliens is definitely the best of the sequels. Well, or Romulus then Aliens. Romulus then Aliens. I actually liked Romulus.
Someone
Hated
at you.
Covenant.
When it's nut crunching time, it's Aliens versus Predator and nothing else.
I'm pretty sure they'll find a way to work Predator back into this thing. We're gonna get a rematch one of these days. Cider, what you got?
I have not seen any of these movies the whole way through.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. I just
We
haven't-
could
I
just
can't
we could
do
just
it.
copy and paste all the parts you did saw into like one movie and then try to make sense of it. It'd be hilarious.
Well, it's just a bunch of the lady person character running around in the dark, and then when it gets to the action scenes, I'm like, nope, bye. Around the time the cat gets threatened, I'm like, I gotta find something else to watch. There's reruns of anime, surely.
You know, speaking of this, I have a question for Cider here because if you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago we watched the film Used Cars. I think it was me, Rob, Rick, and were you two there? Were you other two guys there, or was it
I was
just
there.
us that night? Okay,
It was
No
so
one
I
else
was
could remember.
falling asleep.
Yeah, me too. So I don't blame
Okay.
you. But we noticed that Cider, you happen to be a spitting image for Garrett
always.
Graham, who's
I look
in
like
the film.
every white guy, all
So,
of them at once.
This
I'm all
is
the white
not.
guys.
I swear this is not an AI image. I did not do this myself. I do have to ask you: are you anywhere vaguely related to Garrett Graham?
The deep set
That's-
eyes too.
I swear to you, this is not AI. I did not AI this image together. This is a screenshot from the movie.
I mean,
showed a
let's
picture- I showed a
let's
picture of
do a
Dynamite Kid
reface.
from the 70s. He looked dead on like him too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do a reface. Jesus Christ, spitting image.
I know, right?
Like, are you
Like,
sure
what's
Garrett
your-
Graham is not your real dad?
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
Holy
it's that German heritage that my English ancestors have. Like I'm a dead ringer for the Red Baron. There's like a few pictures of that. If I shaved my head and wore a high collared jacket, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, it's a Red Baron on my stream.
Yeah.
I look like every white guy. I'm sorry. Like my gene pool is like the center point for like that divine timeline thing that Kang was going on about, and all of the rest of the white guys are variants of me. You know?
You're the me in 23andMe.
Right? Exactly. I'm all
What
the
are you,
white
like the
guys.
anchor character? What did they call him in Deadpool? What was it?
The anchor beam.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, the anchor bean. That's what I am. I'm the anchor bean.
Cider
Alright.
is the anchor being.
There
We got
go. I'll
Keaton-
fix my name.
We got Keith over there on Rumble checking us out here tonight. Who else do we have here? Leslie Tarkin saying hail to all you lovely people. Obviously, we know Neozoic's here. Orange Hat is going to be in the chat with you guys. Leslie says that if Sweeney plays Black Cat, that will definitely help the film and the beautiful women to put butts in the seats. We'll talk about that later on, too, because that's going to start a race war. Doba Fett's going to be joining us here tonight. Spencer's joining us here as well. He says he's currently in the Philippines, but he ain't missing the bar room. Sure, we all know you're Korean. Stop lying.
Fuck.
I'm not buying this lie again that Spencer's not Korean. He said, okay, you didn't even edit Rick's into the film. Yeah, that's the whole bit, that he's the only person that actually didn't get face swapped at all. So yeah, I just left him alone. Who else do we have here? Yeah, Song Chain. Now Song Chain, we played it last week. You just weren't here, douche. Cider says that Punisher Cassie gets him every time. Yeah, Cassie's still. I'm still trying to figure out if she's coping with the Punisher look or if she's still like legitimately upset. We'll figure that out in the future.
Well, I gotta tell you, like,
she's got to get her ass back in here,
right?
CS2.
Because like Cassie isn't built like that. And then when she shows up in that thing built like that, I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this, because I know what Cassie looks like, and now that's not Cassie, you know. And I just
it looks like really... Sylvester Stallone, honestly. I mean,
yeah, right. That's you know, it's when you get to the neck and it's like as thick as her jaw, corners of her jaw, and I'm like,
like, is that a different take on Nightwing or something? Because like that's what it reminds me of. Who is the character that you're? Oh, it's the Punisher. Yeah, I'm an idiot. He just said that. So there you go.
Punisher Cassie.
I didn't notice the first. I didn't notice the first one that I did with the first one of me with the
cult classic Punisher. There we go.
Oh yeah. Weird. The first one, the retro intro. Leslie said, "I was a finger licking good." I'm assuming she's talking about your chicken there. DK wants to know if it was orange chicken.
Whoa!
There's just so much innuendo. I just had chicken. That's all I did. I ate chicken. That's it. I didn't fuck it. Oh my god!
He says, "Where did the chicken come from?" Maurice asks.
Jeez, the supermarket. Hopefully they didn't fuck it either. My
Cactus is asking if the chicken was cooked.
Yes, it was just chicken. That's it. With salt and pepper. I'm white. What do you want from me?
I don't know why you're shocked by this, though. I mean, you're from Maine, and we're from the other 48 states.
Yeah.
What? Do you think we're like Florida people up here? We just have sex with chickens?
You know, I like to call them almost Canadians up there in Maine.
There was a guy in Maine that got arrested for fucking a chicken.
His name was Stephen King. What else do we have here? Brianna Raj joining us here. It says the I Am Society promo, exactly. Doba Fett says that Biff Tannen from A Fistful of Dollars. That's his choice. John Wayne did not like Eastwood Cowboy movies. Well, screw him. He's dead. Who else do we have?
Yeah. Hey, he's died with 5 pounds of undigested red meat in his ass. Don't you dare make fun of him.
I never enjoyed seeing Cowboys whenever I play Red Dead Redemption 2. Fair enough. Kevin Costner tried to make a Western recently. Didn't work out. Yeah, it didn't go over very well.
It's too serious. It's too serious. That movie needed a singing cow. Kevin Costner needed to sit down in front of a rock or behind it or on it or whatever and sing a song about baked beans. And that was
that whole.
It's one part.
Hatfield and McCoy's.
That whole thing is something that needed to be a miniseries. I just don't think for a movie format that it was ever going to work.
Yeah, it felt like
Hatfield and McCoy's.
Are we talking about the baked bean scene from Blazing Saddles?
Orange, I know what you're talking about because I think Netflix originally had it like way back in the day, like 2012, 2011. But I heard good things about it. I just never saw it. But yeah, Kevin Costner has a good track record with Westerns.
Kevin Costner was very good in that movie.
Yeah, the Horizon just looked like a, misguided.
Rad's asking Cider, how old were you in that film, Cider?
Negative 13. Yeah, negative.
Is Cider really just a time traveler, and he's just like not telling us?
He came out in 1980, Cider, and we were born the same year. It's -9. Come on.
1989. Yeah, something like that.
I can't keep your birth date in my pot out of the brain. Oh, Thank you. You're very welcome.
I can't remember it, so I appreciate you doing it.
Weed, people, just don't smoke it. Just stay off the drugs, kids. And with that said, we're gonna go ahead and get into our first topic of the night, and it's gonna be our boy Mark Hamill, who was continuously to piss on his entire legacy. And look, I've said this many times before. This is not breaking news for me. I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I've never been a big Star Wars fan, not during the original movies, not during the prequels. I decided I was going to give Disney a chance to see what they were going to do with it. Obviously, that did not end up very well. So I know there's a lot of people out there who want to have a positive view of Mark Hamill because, he was Luke Skywalker, or for some of you, he was the Joker. And it's like, for me, I just like that there's only so much that you can get away with. And for me, if I just like look the other way and be like, yeah, you're just a douche. I don't care if you played somebody's childhood hero 50 years ago. It's like that's all you really are at this point. He did. What was this from originally? I'm gonna make sure I get this right. This was from a fan expo in Chicago over the weekend, where he basically went on another unhinged rant against anyone who supports Trump, because that's kind of been his whole gimmick here over the last several years. So I'll play this video here. This is the one that's made the rounds about our good old buddy, Mr. Mark.
I say, may the force be with you. Unless you're MAGA, then you go force yourself.
He's so proud of himself.
You practice that one in the mirror.
Is that asshole that snaps instead of claps? Yeah, dickhead.
But it's not. And hey, I don't wear blue. And I promised I wouldn't bring up politics. I won't
said
tell you
wearing
vote,
blue.
but I do hope you're all voting. Okay?
I don't like that he's
Just go to vote.com. It's easy to understand, and a lot of times I've heard from people that say, I thought I was registered, but somehow they threw me off the rolls. So
It's probably because you're dead, but that's besides the point there. I do want to play this other. Just real quick before you start going on a tangent, because this other follow-up video was him at the DNC earlier with this guy, and this is what Mark had to say in this video. I'll make sure we have audio on here so people can hear it.
Mark Hamill here with the head of the DNC, Mr. Jamie Harrison. Well, listen, Mark, you got an important election coming up in November. Yes. You got a message for everybody out there?
Eat a dick.
In the movies,
Oh, shit.
I fought against make-believe evil. But we're at a time in our history where we're fighting against real evil. So I beg you, please, don't go to the orange side.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm taking that personally. Fuck you, Mark Hamill.
Do I have a button for that here? Let me see if I have something. I'll have to find something here. But yeah, orange. Like I said, this is basically just how I feel. Did I enjoy Mark Hamill in the animated Batman series? Yeah, but at the same time, I've gotten to a point where it's like, look, sometimes you just have to accept people for exactly who they are. They may have had some kind of tie to your childhood, but you have to realize that Mark Hamill played a fictional hero in a movie about 50 years ago. The real Mark Hamill is exactly what you see here, an old, effeminate, just absolute bag of douche, and that's probably the nicest thing that can come to my head right now that I'll say on YouTube. But I'm pretty sure Orange has a lot other words that he could think of that are not so nice. I'm gonna go ahead and go to you. What's your thoughts on Mark Hamill there? Telling people not to go to the orange side. Get it? Because Trump is orange. Did you get it?
Yeah, I get it. You fucking denigrate my color like that, you piece of shit, Mark. I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. I like Luke Skywalker, but fucking Mark Hamill is not Luke Skywalker. He may have played Luke Skywalker. He ain't fucking Luke Skywalker. He's Jake Skywalker, that piece of shit from the fucking movies.
You can basically say that he attacked you personally. He did say don't go to the orange side. So
exactly.
That's a personal
That's
shot.
why I'm taking that shit personally. I mean, fucking read my shirt, Mark Hamill. Do me a favor and stop fucking talking. You fucking punk bitch. But anyway, folks, he says in that first video that he played, I'm not going to talk politics. And then he just goes on a fucking string about politics. What the dude is fucking nuts. He's lost his fucking way. Yeah, he played a great fucking Joker in the fucking animated series. He has a great fucking voice when he does the whole evil voice thing. He's played Luke Skywalker. His likeness is in a lot of fucking Star Wars books from the EU. And that's all well and good. But man, in real life, he is a piece of fucking shit. He tried to have his fucking granddaughter murdered. Thank God the woman didn't fucking go along with it. But yeah, it's like, Jesus, this dude is so fucking twisted, man. And that, don't go over to orange side, dude. I wish I could just violate space-time and just end up right next to him and just fucking knock him out. Because I'm sorry. Sure. I mean, for fuck's I'm
Yep.
We'll always have Corvette Summer.
Mm-hmm.
So
go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, that was the movie that got made fun of when I was a big Star Wars fan growing up, and my dad, when he was still in my life, always never let me forget that. So, look, this is just I don't know. This is sucking on the teat of Hollywood and holding on to some relevance as an important person in the culture. And I mean, I don't know what Mark Hamill has in his life. I certainly know the jobs aren't there, the work isn't there as an actor, and hasn't been outside of Star Wars. So I don't know. This just seems like an obvious sort of embarrassing attempt at, praising the Democrats and trying to tear down Trump. And it's just, it's very transparent. It's very obvious. It's hard for me to even get angry at it, because if you've seen Mark Hamill's tweets, you know what I mean? He's obviously a part of the DNC's, promotional team and pushing out all the talking points against Trump and for Kamala, and you know what I mean? It's just it's another empty gesture at the lack of ideas that the DNC has. And I saw that over the weekend too, where supposedly I almost wanted to think that that's fake. Like, I mean, don't. You guys honestly, have you guys been to Comic-Cons? Because I've never been to a convention, so I don't know how this stuff is. But this is pretty normal?
No, it's definitely normal. Here's what I think. I actually don't think this is fake, because let's be honest here. Mark Hamill, where you like him or not, he's basically like a god of nerd culture. Like, he is Luke Skywalker. Yeah. So if you're going to one of these Comic-Con Fan Expo events and you get a chance to get an autograph piece with Luke Skywalker, there are people out there who will absolutely pay this amount of money to get either a picture or a signed photo or autographs. So no, I don't believe this is fake at all. I think people actually do put this money up there for him.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, and again, I don't know what the comparison is. I don't know if like Star Wars is way more popular than like Star Trek. You know what I mean? So like if fucking, you know what I mean? It's not even the same thing. It's not like if William Shatner or I'm literally skipping on Charles Xavier's name right now. Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart. Like I don't know if it's even comparable to that, but it's like. Yeah. That's insane. It's to charge hundreds of dollars for what, a photograph, an autograph. Like it just.
Yep. And let's be honest, those are basically those are like exactly those are the photographs and stuff that you get now. It'd be like, because if he dies, it'll be worth a whole lot more. He's dead. And then they'll hawk it off on eBay like all the other guys do. Neil's question real quick says, Mark Hamill on the same level as TDS as far as Robert De Niro. The only thing I can give Mark Hamill at this point is that he hasn't challenged Trump to a fight yet. And so, I mean, I guess maybe that makes him a little bit below, but it's not that far off. Eddie, what's your take on Mr. Hamill?
I think it's absolutely terrible that Mark Hamill expects anyone to pay more than a couple of bucks to have his name signed on a picture of him spitting out alien milk like this, which is literally the only thing I know him for now. I don't really care much about Mark Hamill afterward. Everyone praises his Joker. I think it's kind of mediocre. All it is just, what's his name? Harvey Fierstein, done with a little bit of a New Jersey. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Sorry, I'm just going to just pause it.
That's not bad.
Thank you.
I was like, yeah, that
Holly,
is it.
How are you, Holly? Come here. Let me talk to you for a second. It's Harvey Fierstein, but with like a New Jersey accent underneath it. And
I just wanted to, I want to address this from Neozoic just real quick. I don't mean to laugh, but can you imagine paying almost $300 for an autograph of Michael J. Fox, who has severe Parkinson's? Like you're literally paying $300 for him to shake his hand on what?
For Michael J. Fox, I would have him sign like obscure. I can't do that with Mark Hamill. It's either the Joker or it's Luke Skywalker. With Michael J. Fox, I throw him something obscure like.
No, he was in Guyver.
Oh, I'm sorry. I loved that movie as a kid. But
Right,
I
but no,
rented
like,
so
As
many
a
times.
side character
I know.
who was
He sits on
billed
the
as
front
a
cover,
top
though.
actor on the front cover of the film.
Hey, Michael J. Fox is also in Class of 1984. If you remember that movie night from a
Yes.
year ago, So-
Mark
the one where the Nazi punk skinheads killed that cat in the middle of science lab. Remember that whole movie, Cider?
Yep.
Oh yeah. That one that didn't take the turn I thought it was going to take, and it
No.
went right into like the teacher murdering a group of teenagers who were likewise as murderous. It was astonishing.
Hey, but it did end in a student getting violently murdered that then hung from the top of the auditorium
Oh, they
in front of
raped
the
his
entire school.
wife. They raped his teacher's
they
wife.
kind of raped his wife. Like,
Kai-
all bets are
Kai,
off.
we got a
Okay,
10
They
10-minute
straight up
war.
did.
Poor woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, they all ended up dead.
The
shortly
moral of the
afterwards, so.
story is that you just kill a kid when they start acting out. That way they don't rape your wife. They're weird in class, fucking kill them.
Yeah.
The moral of the story.
Columbine
Hey,
never would have happened if they just nipped it in the bud.
I mean, they might as well just roll the end credits, be like, fuck around and find out.
Right, that should have been the post-credit scene is the teacher drawing that graph. Like, all right, what did we learn?
What do we learn? Yeah, this one's another one real quick because Hamill is out here shilling for Biden and Harris, and they apparently announced the plan where they're going to not only raise the capital gains tax to 40-something%, but the unrealized gains tax is going to be 25%, which means that you're actually going to be taxed on money you have not yet earned. That's what the unrealized gains tax is. So they're going to tax you for money that you haven't even received yet, and there's no guarantee that you're actually going to receive that money. So you're really just getting fucked two ways.
Communism. Woo!
Mm-hmm. You will own nothing, and you will be happy.
Happy and joyful. Happy, happy, joy, happy.
Thanks,
happy,
Mr.
joy,
Rothschild. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dick. No, I'm really, really happy about the way that my life is now. I totally don't want to commit Eastside in Minecraft. Minecraft, guys. Minecraft. But this guy's here. So hey, Rick, do you have anything to say about Mark Hamill?
No.
Okay, that's
what are your
great.
thoughts
Moving
on Corvette Summer?
On who?
On Corvette Summer.
Is
Come
that
on.
like the no? I don't know. Is that like the follow up to White Boy Summer?
No, it's a Mark Hamill movie from the late 70s after Star Wars, so never mind. It's fine. Just...
Oh, no, I've never,
Especially since
I don't.
After Star
You know that
Wars,
scene in
was
American
there-
Psycho where he's like, never mind.
Especially
After
since-
she asks who Ted
All I
Bundy
know
is,
about,
is-
I'm just waiting for Mark.
Well, speaking of Star Wars, Lesbian Space Witches got canceled after one season, so that show's no longer a thing. The Acolyte is another death nail in the Disney Star Wars coffin. That show has officially been canceled after one season. I don't know why anyone thought that this was like a surprise or a shock. It really isn't. You hired someone who's never been in anything good in her entire life to lead your show, and you got canceled after one season. It's almost as if someone could have seen this coming, or quite literally everyone could have seen this coming. The Acolyte was a show that did nothing but basically tear apart the lore of Star Wars, promote witchcraft in the Star Wars universe, promote lesbianism. There's some bit about two women knocking sticks together and then some baby being made by using evil magic or something. I don't know. It was really dumb and confusing and nobody watched it and it got canceled. And now all of the pojos on Twitter right now are just losing their mind, talking about it should have gotten a second season. It was only a minority of bigots online who didn't like it. It's like, first of all, you guys gaslit yourself into thinking that this show was actually good. Like somehow in your mind, you were like, oh, if the bigots don't like it, then that means the show is good. No, that means no one actually watched this. Even you guys did not actually watch the show. Nobody did. So It came, it saw, it went. The only thing we got out of this was Amanda Steinberg's cringeworthy, what was it, pro rap spoken word thing that she did. That then she went immediately afterwards and tried to like delete videos and copyright claim videos of anyone who was mocking her on the internet. So this didn't hurt. This didn't help her career whatsoever. And now we're finally getting to a point, it should have been years ago, where we just have to come to the realization Mark Hamill's out there making a complete ass out of himself with the whole Biden shilling and the whole anti-Trump stuff. Disney Star Wars has quite literally just destroyed the entire franchise. Like there's nothing a Star Wars can do at this point to ever redeem the damage that Disney has done to it. Even if they were to shut everything down for about 20 years, it still probably wouldn't be enough. Like they have absolutely desecrated this body to the point of no return. And this is where we are now. And somehow they expect you to be excited because, hey, guess what? We're bringing back Daisy Ridley for a new trilogy of movies that you probably won't see for another 4 or 5 years. Aren't you excited? This is where they're at right now. Orge, I need to start this one off with you again. I think this Star Wars is dead, right? Like I'm not being like hyperbolic about, like, it's dead. Like it's done. Like nothing. They killed it.
Star Wars visual medium is in fact dead. The only Star Wars that I acknowledge is the EU, folks. The stuff that came before Filoni, the stuff that came or that was before any shit that Filoni ever fucking created. I mean, as much as I like the Darth Plagueis novel, I hate approximately 10 to 20% of it because of Filoni's taint being in it. Other than that, or the stuff that was created by Lucasfilm's actual fucking story group, Karen Travis, James Luceno, and them, good shit. I mean, but the stuff that Disney did and the stuff that frickin' Filoni did was complete and utter destruction of canon, destruction of the continuity. But as for this, I looked at this show objectively. I defended the show in certain areas when it came to practicality and other things. I looked at it from an objective lens when I was doing my breakdowns. But I also still said, I do not acknowledge this as Star Wars because it isn't Star Wars. If it is Star Wars, it means that I have to compare it to everything that has come before. And to do that means you are literally comparing a speck of dirt to a fucking mountain of so much different things that are made up of in the mountain. It just doesn't work. As for the show being canceled, and Amanda, whatever the fuck her name is,
doing look, she has to be special.
Yeah, doing her fucking ghetto twerk thing, waiting for her baby daddy to knock her up on a fucking music video or what the fuck ever.
Or as we have to call it, the Rosie Perez.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, this show didn't fucking perform as it should have. It didn't get the numbers it needed. It dropped off the fucking Nielsen ratings after the 3rd episode. You don't reward failure. As fucking Darth Vader did to his subordinates, you fucking kill the failures. And that's what they did with this show because it fucking failed. You don't continue a shit show just because a couple people like it. No. You fucking say, look, Leslie, you shouldn't have fucking made a show that was your own private masturbatory hate session of your dad, because making this Saul guy basically the legitimate surrogate of your father and wanting to kill him just doesn't fucking work. You are an idiot. We should never have fucking hired you. Go back to Weinstein, get on your knees, and beg for daddy's forgiveness. You fucking bitch.
Wow, that's pretty strong laser rants there. All I have to say is that the official word here for the cancellation of this show is that, yeah, they spent a crap ton of money on it. So once again, Disney gave these people let's say short of a $200 million production budget to produce this crap that everyone with a brain knew was going to flop the second it came out. We were writing articles about this like a year ago when they were describing essentially what the setup for this whole show was going to be. Everyone saw this is going to be a flop. They did this to antagonize the fan base, to go after the fan base, try to subvert people, and it didn't work. It ended up being one of their lowest drawing things ever. And adding to the fact that this thing only finished its first season like a month ago, and it's already been canceled, and everything about it is done. This offered absolutely nothing for nobody, and now here we are dealing with the ramifications. Now, Cider did have a video that I was going to play. I didn't want to play it while Orange was talking, but I guess we can go with this part.
Yo, Kathleen Kennedy, legacy in flames. Burned down prophets just to chase them names. You took a gold mine, turned it into dust. Force-fed agendas, now you lost the trust. Leslie Headland thought you had the juice, but we saw through that. All smoke, no truth. Armanala Stamberg, your acting's a joke. Tried to play a lead, but you barely even spoke. Bad actors cried, they were forced to see us as human beings. But the real fans knew we ain't believing things. Tried to change the script, but we flipped the page. Now Acolytes cancel, welcome to the rage. Spoke truth to power, cut them down in size. No more fake heroes, we see through the lies. Spoke truth to power, hit them with the facts. Now the real ones rise, ain't no coming back.
There you go.
There you go.
All the caps.
Yeah, it took
Word
it
to
took
my
the,
homies.
It took the Hispanics to dance, not the Anglos.
It's our
there.
nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, after another massive failure from Disney Star Wars, I mean, there's no other logical explanation to explain how Kathleen Kennedy still has a job at this point. Like, she's damaged Star Wars in, I think, ways that no one could have possibly imagined in such a short amount of time. Like, we often forget, like, they've only really been producing content for Star Wars for what, 10 years? This is what they've done to Star Wars in 10 years.
What's really embarrassing is, oops, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Kathleen Kennedy is like, she has a career basically because of Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is very good friends with George Lucas. They go way back, and it's like, I wonder if their relationship hasn't been fractured, because George Lucas basically said at a certain point, I mean, I don't know that he was super public about it, but basically, I wish I didn't sell. I wish I didn't sell Star Wars to Disney. But so I look at all that she's done to destroy pretty much everything he's created, and I know he got paid really well for it, but it's got to break his heart at some point.
Well, it's because Kathleen Kennedy figured that she could do better, and it's always the case with people who are absolutely convinced that they can do better. I know that you guys make fun of me about this, but who is the target audience? It's not the Star Wars fans. It's not people like Orange Hat, who are much more versed in Star Wars than most of us are. Who was this going to appeal to? This was going to appeal to people who
Lesbian Space Witches.
I was going to say the people who really want lesbian space witches, or people who really want to think that television shows should reflect who they are, and they get to live like we saw this with, was it She-Hulk? We saw this with Doctor Who when they got a female doctor. We see this with the 47th president, Kamala Harris, because we need to have a strong black woman now lead our country. So we're going to just mourn this series that nobody watched. It cost what, $180 million? That was what I read.
It was quite a lot.
Yes. Who's really even a company like Disney cannot keep wasting money on something that is going to produce fewer and fewer returns. Nobody was watching this show, and so they're going to sink it because a small group is loud enough. No, at a certain point, you have to have some logic and say, we're not going to spend more money on a show that nobody's watching and nobody cares about and did not build up a fan base. There were that many people who were interested. You cancel shows all the time if people aren't going to watch. There are shows that I loved that were canceled, but I wasn't going to say, oh no, it's because of racism, sexism, homophobia, witch phobia, I don't know what.
Oh my.
Yes.
Yeah. Neil asks a question here: which Star Wars franchise, I mean, what Star franchise, you think is worse, Star Wars or Star Trek? I know Star Trek has produced a lot of garbage over the last couple of years too, but if Star Trek was to come out with like a brand new movie, like a brand new feature film, I think they would still have enough goodwill with their fan base that people would go see it. I cannot say the same thing about Star Wars at this point. Star Wars has burned all their bridges.
I think Star Wars is doing worse, but Star Trek, I mean, if you saw Star Trek Beyond, that was pretty bad.
How much did that movie make again? Because I don't remember how much that one actually pulled. It didn't do too well. It was only like $345 million. So.
And it was so bad that when they decided to make Sulu, the character, gay, as some sort of homage to George Takei, even George Takei said, "You know what? That's not what Gene Roddenberry envisioned. I mean, thank you for the honor, but." That's not the character, and you don't need to make him gay just because I'm gay. You could create an original gay character, and that would be even better. So, yeah, that didn't go. It was not a good movie. It was just a terrible waste.
Well, it was sort of, they needed to end the trilogy. If you're talking about the third movie with Chris Pine and Quinto and whatever, but they just needed to finish that franchise. I think they were kind of limping towards the end because it took such a long time between whatever the second movie was with Khan, bringing, oh God, Cumberbatch and his Khan.
Benedict Cumberbatch,
yeah, there was just such a huge gap, and people lost interest.
And
so
that
I think that's the issue.
Bad. Yeah,
but I think Star Wars is way worse.
Yeah, because go ahead.
No. That was pretty much my statement.
No, Star Wars is worse because the failures are more pronounced. And I mean, I know what Star Trek has, like an animated show, and then there's like maybe a smaller TV show. But nobody, Disney has really bled the property dry, and that's what it does with all its properties. It's just absolutely convinced that it's going to.
I have no interest in Star Wars. I have no interest in Star Wars, but if you came to me, right, and you asked me, okay, we need a new show about the Jedi and to get people back, interested in Disney Plus as a platform, and we really need to hit this one out of the park, I'd be like, okay, just first thought, just random thought, I would do a super stylized spaghetti western thing, with Jedis, and make it into a space western and go back to those, making the duels actually feel epic and interesting, and hey, there's stakes here. Hey, we're gonna, you know what I mean? And I've complained about this kind of stuff in all media, whatever. But it's like that, and it's just like that would have been infinitely better than what they actually produced, which is the same She-Hulk kind of crap that alienates the built-in audience for your franchise. And guess what? Not enough people are going to give a shit. Oh, I'm on the screen as a lesbian Jedi or whatever the fuck it is, or lesbian witch in space, and the Jedi are the evil people, and you know what I mean?
Me and my witch coven.
It's not
just going to attract anybody.
Yeah, it's not just getting old fans to watch, it's building new fans. That goes back to what I complained about Doctor Who, where they brought the female doctor. People kept saying and screaming at me, oh no, we're going to get more people are going to watch. Initially they did, but then the ratings went down because they had worked overtime to alienate the old fans. They weren't building in new fans. And what? The show's now on Disney Plus, and it's basically on life support, if not actually dead. Nobody cares about Doctor Who. Same thing with the lesbian space witches here from the Acolyte. It's not just writing the name and saying, oh, we're getting a big multicultural cast, and we're getting lesbian space witches or whatever that show had. You need to have new fans. You need to bring in new people.
But here's the thing. In their mind, they thought they were here's what's Kathleen Kennedy's plan has been for the last 10-15 years with the property in her hand. She wants this fan base to go from a majority male to a majority female fan base. That's what she's been trying to do for the last 15 years. In the course of doing that, she's run off virtually all of the male audience and has only brought in a small subset of females and try to make it seem like, oh, we're diversifying our fan base. You're diversifying your fan base by cutting off a large majority of the male fan base. It means you're actually losing more people than you're bringing in, and then bringing in a handful of women women who are going to talk about it on social media. It's the same thing basically WWE's been doing for like the last 10, 15 years as well. That's really what it's going to come down to. But they said stupid people just have to learn their lesson the hard way, and this is where we're at now.
And
It seems like Mark Hamill's going to pick up a few more autograph signings at a local Taco Bell in order to catch up on all the lost revenue that all the Star Wars property is being destructed by. So, in the words of all, let's finish it. With the words of all true Star Wars fans and especially Orange Hats, I believe Disney Star Wars has killed Star Wars in general, and they're nothing but jizz blowers.
Yeah, well, the Star Wars brand has taken hit after hit with starting with the new movies, Rogue One being probably the exception. But you had The Last Jedi, the Revenge of, I don't care, all those other ones. They weren't building up. They were just driving them further and further away. All these television shows, not only did you have so many, but they weren't building, they weren't bringing in a lot of people. And now with the Acolyte, like, really, how, apart from the people who really like watching Lesbian Space Witches, who really is mourning the end of this show?
No one.
No.
The gays?
I don't know.
Lesbian male space feminists.
Well, I mean, I guess.
I mean, between Star Wars and Star Trek, we sure are sending a lot of homos in space. Anyone concerned about that? Is that a problem?
That's what I wanted to bring up about this Star Wars Star Trek thing. I don't exactly pay that close attention to it, but I do get whispers on the wind about what these franchises are up to. Now, the Star Trek has delved very hard into the musical end of things. They started doing musical episodes. The characters are dancing around. They fly through a radiation cloud, and they have to communicate doing musical theater dance. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And this isn't that Strange New Worlds one that everyone was very proud of. They've also got a ton of gay characters in there. Everybody's talking about their pronouns. They've decided that the little parasite thing that had like the really cute girl from Deep Space Nine, Trax or whatever her name was, Jaxie or something. Jax, yeah.
Yeah.
Jax there, really cute girl. They decided that whole slug thing in her is a non-binary thing, and it takes over humans, and it just decides if it's going to be male or female after it does that. And it's just, just throwing it out the window that, like, yeah, trans people are aliens and have a parasite controlling them. They don't think this stuff through. And so on the other end of this, all right, the video game has embraced all of this ideology. It's all this, the future doesn't care if you pee standing up or down, They've removed the skirts from everything. Everybody wears pants. Nobody has any, like, feminine shape to them. And everybody's got these, like, the traditional sort of military wear, but it's not form-fitting anymore. The women wear, like, Dorito-shaped jackets, and the men wear Dorito-shaped jackets. And the other end of it is that it's all like hyper over futurized now. There's no color anymore. It's all gray and like that cold blue neon light color. There's no Technicolor hopeful future to it anymore. And all they've done is lean into prophecy, magic, and interdimensional threats. And so there's been absolutely nothing done with the actual Star Trek political intrigue. It's all been, let's do Star Wars, but with the military angle. And that's what it's been, interdimensional monsters that are quite literally tentacle creatures reaching through and causing all sorts of mayhem. And then the Picard show, as you remember, came through and was like, by the way, women are the key to everything and men just suck. And that was great. And so... And Star Trek and Star Wars are pretty close on the suckometer. You guys might not know, but they're pretty damn close on the suckometer. So no, if they came out with a movie right now, that would crash as hard as Borderlands. Nobody's talking about Star Trek. Who the hell do you know is having a conversation about Star Trek unprompted? Like in an elevator, they're like, hey, do you remember that time that Picard was fucking around with a flute and traveled through time, had this weird out-of-body experience? Remember that? Nobody's doing that. Nobody.
No, outside of conventions, maybe.
Maybe. But even then, they're like, "You remember that? That was the better Star Trek." And everyone's like, "Yeah, that was the better one."
I think it's because the creatives, the people behind the product, the writers, the producers, the directors, showrunners, they are creating content for themselves. This is what they want to see, and they figure that everyone thinks the way they do. They really are not appealing to the general Star Wars or Star Trek fans. They're not appealing to people
No,
like
they
Rob or
hate the
myself.
general Star Wars fans.
Yeah. I mean, they hate people like Rob and me who are casual. Like, we know a bit, but we're not invested in it. And they detest people like Orange Hat who are very well versed in it and who understand the lore, understand the mythos, and care about the lore and the mythos. They write for themselves. I mean, you had this with She-Hulk, where they were writing for themselves, where the writers' room was basically writing a
They
whole
spent
show.
$200 million on that schlock.
Yeah, the same with the Acolyte, the same with Star Trek, the same with Doctor Who. All of these shows. I don't watch a show to be educated about whether or not people are good or bad. I want the characters to be interesting, and I want the story to be interesting. And if you can't do that,
to me, like watching these shows, or like, remember like how back in the day we always used to like talk about that Saudi billionaire who would spend like $400 million on a yacht just so he could say that he has like the biggest yacht in the world. You think to yourself, you know how many people you could have fed for $400 million? You wouldn't spend it on a boat. To me, it's like you guys spent $220 million on shows like She-Hulk and the Acolyte. You could have done literally anything else with that money. You might as well had just burned it. Honestly, you might as well just burn it.
They could have given me $200 million, and I could have literally made anything I wanted. And even if it would have been a giant failure, it would still have more value than She-Hulk.
Yeah,
I
always
marvel at that.
I always go back to the idea
Nice
of that
pun.
that Godzilla -1 was made on what, 12 or 15 million dollars.
About 12.
Yes,
I think it's like between 9 and 12.
Yes, and that movie is was in many top 10 lists. It won visual effects over Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and they didn't need to spend all that money. Who are they spending this? I mean, you don't have to just pay the actors. You pay the actors, the writers, the directors, the producers, the showrunners, the production crew, the set designers, the set builders, the costume designers, the costume builders, caterers, electricians. There's a lot of money, and it just seems like 180 or $200 million for all these episodes seems an excessive amount.
Yeah, but that's what that's Disney's model. But yeah, final
Use
thoughts on
spoons.
this story real quick.
They're going to use spoons because they have holes.
My final thoughts are, y'all saw me rage about this shit. As much as I hate Disney Star Wars, when I heard that Disney was getting a hold of it, I wanted it to be good. I want it to be good. I don't want fucking Star Wars to die. I want it to be good. I want it to go back to what it used to be. It's a childish dream, I know. I don't get any fucking pleasure out of fucking ripping into this shit. It's because, or I actually want the shit to be good. The problem is none of these fuckwits at Lucasfilm want to fucking listen to the fans who know their shit, who actually respect this shit more than they do. And everybody's saying, oh, Kathleen Kennedy, sure to be fired this time. Stop sucking Doomcock's cock and start fucking thinking for yourself. She's not going to be fired. She's going to fucking quit when she's good goddamn and ready to fucking quit. And she's apparently, according to rumors, waiting for a fucking win that will never come. So the bitch is going to die in her fucking office as an old gray-haired hag.
She might as well have just said, I'm not going to retire till the Browns win the Super Bowl. So it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, folks. I would like fucking Star Wars to be good. The unfortunate truth is the only good shit that Star Wars has now are the first original 6 movies, 1 through 6, as well as the books that came out all before 2008. That's it. That's all.
Yeah. I want to say Deadpool or Wolverine was probably about 210 as well, or maybe a little bit more. I'm not because it's an MCU movie, so those are always expensive as hell because they basically 90% blue screen. But
the difference,
yeah, I mean, go ahead.
The difference there is like it's already made a profit.
Yeah,
see, this is the thing. Like we talk about budgets all the time and what it needs to make. Deadpool 3 doesn't need to do shit. It's already made its money plus profit. Like it's good. But that's the thing. That's these gargantuan projects, these massive budgets. And again, we're talking about TV here. But I don't know what the hell they're doing. I think this is just a serious industry-wide money laundering scheme. Because I mean, Jacob, I know you talk about it all the time, and this was brought up in Down and Dirty Pictures, about Miramax when the Weinsteins were there. It was like they had the most creative ways of not paying people, or saying this didn't make a profit, or hiding profits, or and whatever. Maybe it's just an industry standard thing now, because I don't understand how you can keep running where you're blowing this much money on, I mean, almost no return in value, no return on your investment. It really honestly just boggles the mind. So Disney Plus, since they have premiered, has had flop after flop after flop. So this is just another one in the long run of them. So I'm not surprised. Nobody wanted this. You kind of cannibalized your own fan base to try to present it to a new audience that never materialized outside Twitter. And by the way, those fucking idiots, all like the last couple of days, like it was the greatest show ever. It's like nobody watched it. You antagonized the people that wanted to watch it. You did it to yourself.
Well, I mean, in fairness to Disney Plus, just remember that if you agree to it, they could literally kill you, and they don't have to do anything about it. They'll just take you to arbitration. So beware if you sign up for Disney.
Yeah, don't let Disney kill you while you have your Disney Plus subscription, because they might get away with it if you don't read the terms of service. But real quick, over on our Rumble side, we got MAGA OG saying he misses Star Wars and Star Trek, and Keith over on Rumble wanted Cider to know that he's also from Maine, but it's the liberal part of Maine. But then when I ejected that all of Maine is the liberal part of Maine, he says that but it's not just me because I live here.
No, because there's that one random Maine vote that's going to go to the Donald, and that's going to be cast by Cider.
Single-handedly.
Yes, all 537 are going to go to Kamala, so we know that. But thank you, Cider, for having that, giving Trump that one sympathy vote.
I'm going to do a quick little pivot here to video games, because apparently Mortal Kombat has retconned the origins of Sector and Cyrax in the latest game. So if you guys remember like the old school Mortal Kombat games from like 30 years ago, these were two, I guess it started off as humans, and then they got kidnapped by like a rogue demonic agency that turned them into cyborgs, and they were like basically cyborgs for the entire run of the game, and it was like a black guy and a white guy. Well, what they have done here is that they've not only gender swapped the two characters, they basically changed the origin of the characters to where they're not robotic like cyber humans anymore. They're just basically like women in Iron Man suits. So these are the new Cyrax in the new Sector. Here's a little bit of the trailer for the official Cyrax. I guess it's a DLC from Mortal Kombat 1. There's a rant that's going to come on here first, but I just want to show you guys exactly what they did.
Where are you? Over here.
But by the way, just a quick little sidebar here. I don't know why the black woman who's now Cyrax in canon speaks like she's from Wakanda. I don't know why they thought that was like a smart move. It sounds like she sounds like, yeah, exactly. She sounds like she's going to say like Wakanda forever.
Well, it's Ironheart, isn't it? It's all Ironheart.
Well, maybe if she was the red one, you can say that, but no, she's the yellow one here.
Fighting your foe unseen, attacking from a distance. There are rules.
Okay, now she just sounds like Miss Cleo. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, what the fuck?
Call me
now for your free reading.
We have found Kuai Liang and his Shirai Ryu. They gather at the Wuxi for his wedding.
Attack his wedding. We may win the battle, but find we lose the war. No one will respect us.
Better to be feared than respected.
Better to be understood, so fix that accent, and then
Oh, hell no. We are not doing the Red Wedding.
What?
Season 3, Episode 9.
Thanks, I hate it.
But by the way, a quick little sidebar here. This has nothing to do with this particular issue, but remember they did the Mortal Kombat movie like just a couple of years ago, like right after COVID, and then they admitted that they created some nonsense character to put into that movie because apparently Johnny Cage was too white to be in the Mortal Kombat movie. He's one of the original 8 characters of the game, yet somehow the people at Warner Brothers decided he was too white to be a part of the Mortal Kombat movie. One of the most popular characters in the entire franchise.
Yeah, I don't get the Red Wedding. I mean, I get the reference. I don't get why they need to put it in here.
Because Warner Brothers is
He's
also
a
involved with this, so
Hollywood
they're hawking their own product here. That's basically what they're doing.
And also no random.
So this is just like gameplay showing you here, and then here's more cutscene.
How long have we known each other? That you can ever believe
You vanished without explanation. The hand my Grand Master gave me one.
You blame me for your actions?
Yeah, to the point.
Wow, those light-up sketchers are doing overtime, huh?
I was wrong, thinking you worthy of that armor. You are my instructor and my commander. Don't confuse that with being my superior.
Do you know the way?
Exactly.
Do you know the way, my brother?
Ugandan female Cyrax. That's
there we go.
So, where do I start here? NetherRealm has been just a complete dumpster fire for several years, and it feels like this all happened after, what was it, Mortal Kombat 9, which I believe was the last Mortal Kombat game for like the PS3 era. But if you recall what happened there was this whole thing about feminists and people like the Anedian Sarkeesian types who are all complaining about the fact that, oh my god, that the characters are too over sexualized for this Mortal Kombat game. There's too much sexual content and innuendo for this game where you violently rip people apart and rip out their own hearts and shove it down their own throat. So apparently they made an executive decision several years ago that uber violence is fine, but if Melina has too big of boobs, and that's where we're going to draw the line here. Ever since then, they've just been doing one terrible retcon after another. Apparently, in the current timeline of Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang became God for some weird reason, and then basically redid the entire universe. So now it's like Sub-Zero, Raiden, and Scorpion are all like Asian now, and now we've retconned Cyrax and Sector to be women who in mech suits rather than actual cyborgs, and the costume designs on a lot. We even talked about this like a year ago. Like the actual character designs for the multitude of the female characters just looks hideous for supposedly a next generation game. It's like it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever just how bad those things look. But this is where we are now, and this is what Mortal Kombat is. So it's not just Star Wars, it's not just Star Trek. It's like they're basically taking anything that you hold dear as a passion or a hobby and just finding some kind of way to just utterly destroy it. And that's essentially what we've done with everything across the board. Cider, I will start this one off of you. What is your thoughts on the new and improved Mortal Kombat?
Well, I just want to reply with you. You could be playing that, or you could be playing World of Tanks with these guys.
Oh boy.
You ready? This gets real fast here. Here we go. Like, this is how you play World of Tanks, guys. I don't know about see that?
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Watch. The tank fire goes off so much.
We're talking about Mortal Kombat, Cider.
Yeah. Well, whatever. That was boring, and I brought up something way better and cooler, and that's how you dispose of your junk soda. So there you go.
Yeah, so we'll just fire 2 liters of Sprite at our enemies while we're playing video games.
You know what? Diabetes kills a lot of Americans. It can kill a lot of Russians too.
Yeah, so now we're just literally going to kill people with sugar.
Blunt force diabetes.
That would actually be better to send all that soda to Ukraine rather than all those billions. I mean, they could
need
use,
the caffeine.
Yes, that could be real weaponry that they could use.
See?
They're a perfect connection with vodka. So
Leave it to the Chinese to find a way to wage war with plastic.
Oh crap!
As opposed to putting it into medication.
So this was, like I said, Mortal Kombat 9. I believe this came out in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. And like I said, seems to be the game that they have course corrected on so hard here. Some people mentioned it in the chat that apparently, Sweet Baby Inc. has had a lot of influence in this one, and it shows they're the ones that are basically like your diversity and equity and inclusion police for all your video games. So they have to make sure that you have enough diversity and quota and crap like that, and make sure that you're all in line with the progressive new world, because you're not allowed to do things that we don't approve of. But this was the cinematic trailer for 9, which I think is probably the last Mortal Kombat game that anyone actually liked, and you can tell for the obvious reasons why they've been rebelling against this for quite some time here.
Look at the level of rendering here compared to what we just saw.
Yeah, and then this was a PS3 era game, just in case you guys didn't know that.
This is horrible. We've just totally stagnated on graphics here. Like,
this was actually the era I was still playing Mortal Kombat. I don't know if I played this one, but I played not Dark Alliance, Deadly Alliance.
Yeah.
And then I think it was called Armageddon, Mortal Kombat Armageddon, but I don't know. That might have came after this one, but.
And I think Deception was another one too. So
yeah, no, Deception I definitely played. Yeah, I enjoyed those games a lot. So it's kind of sad what's happened to them.
Oh, jiggle physics.
Yeah, they made sure they got rid of those. But no, this is literally the cinematic trailer for a game that came out about 13 years ago.
Yep.
And because the Sarkeesian types did not approve of some of the creative choices in this game, it seems like NetherRealm has been hiring wine-ons to make Mortal Kombat games now, and it has not worked out at all. It's gotten to a point now, I think even, what was it, the last Tekken game, not the one that just came out, but the one before that, Tekken out of nowhere sold like 10 or 13 million copies because people were so fed up with Mortal Kombat, they were literally going back to Tekken. And Tekken had even cut the budget of that video game, and it still outsold them like absolutely nothing. So
they got Heelys on. Did you see that?
Yeah.
They just like slide. They're just like, woo, coming at you.
I bought the new Tekken because it has a Peruvian coffee girl in it.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
That's all I base my fighting games on.
I'm just a simple man with simple needs.
They're gonna have Mari, the wrestling chick, on Street Fighter 6 pretty soon. So I'm up for it.
So yeah, this is what we're done. Like how do we go from that game to 13 years later? We have Wakanda Forever Cyrax lady. In the same place. Keep in mind, this is like 2 generations ahead now. That was a PS3 game. We're at the PS5 now, and the graphics are only marginally better. Marginally?
No, I wouldn't even say marginally. Just as someone who's never played any of these games and who only saw the recent Mortal Kombat movie, I think the ones from the 9 look better than whatever we're going to be treated to. And
we're 2 generations from that. Yeah. We are 2 gaming generations ahead of that. And I wish Cassie was on so she could rant about this. But it's like, this is happening in video games because I noticed it too, where it's like, okay, to be fair, this has been true of sports video games for a very long time. That the microtransactions and like all that's another issue entirely. Okay. And I still buy them because I'm a mark and I want to play the latest Madden with the new season because I'm a mark. I'll admit it. That's fine. But I can't imagine that like normal people. That's what I want to say. But like literally, normal people can shell out $70 for terribly made video games that and it doesn't. Separate from the sports video games. This is in every franchise now. You have the more emphasis on microtransactions, spending more money on the game to get a better experience. It's the antithesis of what video games used to be. I mean, we all me and Jacob at least grew up in the PS2 Xbox era. That was filthy. Yeah. The type of quality that was coming out every year was ridiculous compared to now. And this is true for Mortal Kombat as well, where I thought they did a great job adapting the franchise to the PS3 to some of the later gaming consoles. I'm sad to hear that it's just gone downhill since then. So this is happening all over. It's pop culture. It's movies, it's TV, it's video games. We see the same pattern of, hey, we need more racial, gendered, sexual representation in these characters. Cyrax and Sector, like those characters that were introduced in Mortal Kombat 3 had some really cool moves. I know Cyrax had the net that you could capture your enemy in, and
their official backstory from the original game, like Mortal Kombat 3, was actually a really good backstory. It was kind of like a tragic type of backstory, how they were like ninja warriors who got kidnapped and was basically forced to be turned into cyborgs against their will, and there was actually like a lot of like weight to that. And now here we've gone and just pissed all over it because
they know better.
Yep,
they know better.
And what's funny is I remember when the Mortal Kombat movie came out, they were making games so fast that by the time Annihilation was coming out, I think they had like 4 Mortal Kombat games out there. Like, okay, we're throwing in all these characters, and it's part of the reason why that movie doesn't totally work. But Cyrax and Sector, they're in there.
Yeah, well, I think Cyrax is in there. Yeah, Smoke was the other one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They didn't have Sector. They turned Sector into Smoke because Smoke was launching missiles.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with like the color, maybe the budget. Like, they was like, we'll just make it gray because we can't afford red paint right now. So, any thoughts from you guys about kind of the state of modern NetherRealm Mortal Kombat games? Because it's not great.
They should have stuck with Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Hell, I remember when the N64 had an exclusive game called Sub-Zero Mythologies, where it was like a first player like adventure game. Like that.
Love that game.
They used to do so many cool things with these franchises, and you know what I mean? Because Mortal Kombat was just a kind of basic, bloody, grotesque fighter, along with whatever, Dead or Alive, Soul Calibur, Street Fighter. I mean, they all kind of we're all familiar with these if we played video games growing up. And I don't know if it's the lack of competition. I know that's the issue with sports games, but for gamers, I mean, I don't play video games nearly as much as I used to. I just wish for people that do play them, I wish they would get better. I wish they weren't a stagnant product like everything else seems to be in pop culture.
Yeah.
For those of you who, who have.
Injustice wasn't like a good, like, long-lasting competitor for Mortal Kombat. They tried very hard to keep Injustice rolling for a while, but it just doesn't have that.
It was a predecessor, wasn't it?
It's the same studio though, isn't it?
It was a predecessor.
That's just it. Is that even if it is an in-house studio competitor, there wasn't anything like visually to compete with Mortal Kombat. Is what I'm getting at. Is that there isn't. You got King of Fighters, you got Dead or Alive, you got Street Fighter, that sort of thing. Yes, that they kind of have a similar visual aesthetic. But Mortal Kombat deliberately sets out to create characters that look murderous. They look menacing. There is not a hero among them.
If you recall, remember they did it was Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe, which was a game they did back in the PS2 era. And what happened was that they were like, okay, let's put like DC superheroes versus Mortal Kombat characters, but then they realized, oh yeah, but the DC characters can't actually kill anyone. So essentially they made like literally a PG Mortal Kombat game, and it didn't go over very well with anyone.
Well, and that's kind of the problem. Like Rob said, they don't experiment with anything. They're not trying anything different. Now you have the success of Smash Brothers. We don't see a Smash style Mortal Kombat come out. We still see Mortal Kombat as it existed in arcade cabinets in the 90s, just with new graphics on them that are less impressive than the ones before. And that's what we're kind of looking at, is that like across all of these fighter games, they're all stagnated down to just being like, okay, these two characters are going to punch each other in the face until you buy a new skin. And that's
remember, here's someone who you remember and don't remember at the same time. This is the woman who played the player model for Sonya Blade in the very first Mortal Kombat game, and a few others along the way. She's 54, by the way, just in case you guys didn't know that.
That was a long time
do some
ago.
video games back in the day, and it's still going strong now with my fans, and still doing a lot of stuff with it.
I just wanted to play that. That was no more.
Sure.
We're not gonna watch the whole thing.
But this is the problem that I'm seeing immediately, is that rather than learning from the 90s, they want to copy the 90s. Rather than learning from the 80s, they want to copy the 80s. And that's what you're looking at, is they're like, oh yeah, this looks really good in an arcade cabinet. Let's just 4K graphic it. All right, cool. Just strap whatever political agenda to it. Let's go.
It's even worse than that, because these people are so deluded. Like they've gotten this like weird complex where they think that they're morally better than like every other like decade and generation that came before them, right? So they think that they're fixing the 80s and the 70s and the 90s by doing things for modern audiences, because everything was problematic before we came around, right? And then that's essentially what they're trying to do with Mortal Kombat. It was like Mortal Kombat was problematic 15 years ago, so now we're gonna fix it, and by fixing it, we mean make it significantly worse.
Put a chick in it and make it gay and make it lame.
Mm-hmm. And give her a really bad Wakandan accent.
It's Black Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, let's throw them all back in the wood chipper.
It's Blackleen Kennedy.
There you go.
So I only going to talk about this story because there's been a few interesting developments since I've picked this one to talk about. Michael Keaton basically said that he didn't want to have too much screen time in the Beetlejuice movie that is supposed to be coming out here in a few weeks. Now, on face value, this was a major problem. However, the day that this interview went viral with Variety, the people at what is this, Warner Brothers? I think it was Warner Brothers who did this movie too, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Warner Brothers made a very interesting change to the official runtime for this movie. The official runtime for this movie up until this interview was allotted at about 2 hours and 40 minutes or 2 hours and 30 minutes was what was listed. Like, so when people were going like IMDb or going to like sources to figure out how long this film was, they were saying this is like a 2.5 hour movie, which made no sense because we talked about this before. The first movie is only 92 minutes long. So they were going to add an hour of content here. And then it's like, oh, great. So you're going to add an hour of content in Beetlejuice isn't going to be in the film. This is going to be a disaster. Now they've retconned the runtime, be like, oh, it's not 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's just an hour and 45 minutes now, which I don't know if that makes it better or worse, but here's Michael Keaton's talks on coming back to Beetlejuice. There's a couple of interesting quotes that he has here, so let's go ahead and get into this. Keaton, as we all know, is coming back for Beetlejuice movie, which I am not excited for. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I have no... I wasn't a big fan of the first Beetlejuice movie. Definitely didn't like the animated show that they did years ago, so it's like I'm not a Beetlejuice mark at all. But here it has the idea of Beetlejuice coming back after, 30 years? It says here that the idea was, no, you can't load it up with Beetlejuice. That will kill it. This is what Keaton said about doing a sequel to this movie. He says that I think Beetlejuice, the character, doesn't drive the story as much as he did in the first one. He's more part of the storyline in this one as opposed to the first one, which is yeah, exactly. We'll get to this here in a second, which is a case of this thing comes in and drives a movie for a little bit. So basically he's saying that he's a supporting character in his own movie that he's the title character of. I'm not sure that's exactly something that you want people to know about, but in case you guys didn't know, this movie is going to focus more on the character that Jenna Ortega plays. Jenna Ortega plays Winona Ryder's daughter in this film. They're bringing back a multitude of characters from the first movie, adding in a few people as well. Exactly. Like I said, mentioned this like a couple of weeks ago. It's like he got Jenna Ortega, who's like straight up Mexican, and she's supposed to be playing the daughter of Winona Ryder, who's aggressively Jewish, and we're all just supposed to buy into it. We're just supposed to don't question anything at all. The dad is dead, so whoever the kid's father is already dead by the time the movie starts. So it's like, yeah, great decision there. He says that the original was so fun and exciting, and the sequel is all that really beautiful and interesting, emotional here and there. Keaton says, I wasn't ready for that. It's great. There was, I guess, questions about whether they were going to put Beetlejuice in the modern audience check, and he said that one of the stipulations for him coming back was making sure that he didn't get into a sensitivity check to update the character with the times. He says that as far as the character himself, there's not a ton of updating to be done here. Beetlejuice, debauched sicko in 1988, remains a debauched sicko in our more enlightened era. Yeah, enlightened. That's exactly what you guys are. He says that he said he's a thing. He's more of a thing than a he or a she, or he's more of it. I'm not saying that we're trying to be politically correct. I just view it as a force more than anything. I mean, there's definitely strong male energy, like stupid male energy, which I love. You don't want to touch that because it's not like you go, well, it's a new year and this thing would act like that now, or act like that. So he also goes on to say here that he's had the most fun he's had on set in a long time filming Beetlejuice. He says, on one hand, you go, it's like it's the most fun. It looks like fun. As you know, it always doesn't work like that. Keaton said the one thing Tim Burton, obviously, and I decided early on from the beginning that if we ever did it again, I'm totally not interested in doing something where I felt like it was too much technology and it had to feel handmade. It was very exciting when you get to do that again after years of standing in front of a giant screen pretending somebody else is across away from you. It's enormous fun. This film comes out officially in like 2 weeks. So a couple things to pick apart here. One, now that we have the revised runtime of this movie, he's claiming that you're not going to see as much Beetlejuice in this film as you would in a previous film, even though this one's going to be a lot longer than the last one. That makes it kind of sound like they're probably going to use him kind of as a supporting character to Jenna Ortega's character, who might end up being the lead focus on the entire thing, which I guess in their minds makes sense because it's like, oh, well, she's red hot on Wednesday, so let's give her more screen time here on this film over the character of Beetlejuice, who we've actually titled the film after. So it's a little bit of a bait and switch in that aspect. But then he tries to comfort people by letting them know, hey, it's the same Beetlejuice for us 30 years ago, so we're not going to make it woke, at least from that aspect. But there's other aspects that they can do that for here. So I know there's a lot of pushback here between Cider and Orange. I want to start with Cider first and then get Orange's thoughts on the comments from Michael Keaton there. Are you now more interested or less interested in Beetlejuice after hearing Keaton's explanation there?
I'm definitely less interested. I was like already not interested at all, and now I'm like negative interested. See, I don't have an affection for the movie. I grew up with the cartoon, and the cartoon was kind of cute in my mind. It didn't break any rules. It was just kind of the gross out humor of the late middle 90s, and that was basically all I took away from it. It was spooky, gross cartoon. So I have more of an attachment to that. Seeing less of the title character is stupid. Makes me wonder what that Naruto live action movie is going to be about. It's like, Hinata's sexual trauma. Is that what the movie's going to focus on? I wonder. And again, now we have to ask, is Jenna Ortega just going to be on her own throughout this whole movie, and then Beetlejuice shows up and rescues her because he's the only one with magic powers, and she has to confront her like dead father's ghost through an hour-long movie part of this? I mean, that's the only thing I can figure is that she's got to go and like settle things with her dad, who like slapped her around when she was a baby or something. He has to be like, "Oh, I'm a ghost and I'm sorry," and there's an hour of that.
Yeah, Jeffrey Jones isn't in it because he's has some things in his past. But yeah, and I just wanted to point that out real quick because I know Jacob was bringing this up in the article. Beetlejuice is a supporting character in the original,
the first one. Yes,
it's mostly about Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. But I think he said something like he's on 17 minutes of a what? 105-minute runtime?
It was 17 minutes in the first movie, I believe is what he said.
Oh, okay. And that's fine because they're those set pieces where he transforms, he morphs, you know what I mean? And his presence is kind of all over that movie. I have no faith that a sequel is going to work this long after. And by the way, Jenny Ortega. So this is why this confuses me, because she's the daughter of Winona Ryder in this movie, and then she's the daughter of Christina Ricci in the Wednesday series. Like I'm trying to keep these, because Beetlejuice and well, I don't know, I didn't watch it because I don't watch garbage. But
she's daughter
those
of
two
Captain
movies
Zeta
came
Jones
out
in the Wednesday series.
Yeah, so Beetlejuice came out in
That makes it
1988,
more
and the
believable.
Addams Family came out in 1991. You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, we're really shoving a lot in here, but I just don't have any faith that this is going to be good. Michael Keaton's comments here, it's like, I know what he's trying to do, but it's like, just stop trying to drag down your own movie, please. But yeah, I hope it's good because I'm going to go see it, but little to no faith that it's gonna be enough 35 years later.
Orange, what's your take on this character?
I was wondering, because I was worried now that they did a sequel so late in the game with this. It's like, are you going to make fucking Beetlejuice the poltergeist that he is? Or are you going to make him some fucking politically correct piece of shit? And him saying that he's going to be the debaucherous fucking psycho that he was, it's like, dude, yes. So yeah, that I am excited for. I do want to see this movie. I love the original. Tim Burton went on a kick in the 80s, and it just fucking worked in the 80s, you know? I mean, I like his Batman. His Batman is well freaking known. And his Batman also killed, which is awesome. It's just, with this movie, I have a theory. I just don't know how it freaking, I just don't know how I'm going to prove it if it's true. I mean, I hope the movie proves it's true. But anyway, basically, Jenna Ortega is Beetlejuice's daughter. But that's my theory. It'd be so fucking hilarious if it was. But
well, that would
I'm
be
looking
very
forward to the movie.
Orange,
but
that
with them, it would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Well, only because I just saw it recently, and in the first Beetlejuice, Winona Ryder is simply appalled at the idea of being with Beetlejuice, because remember, he was trying to force the wedding at the very
marriage,
end.
yeah.
And now you're saying that she decided to just forgo her disgust and go and marry.
Well, maybe she just got
with him?
real fucking rebellious at one point and freaking summoned him before.
Not
so who
well. I
knows?
mean, it's hard
Or
to say
after.
because it's hard to say because at the end it makes it look like they're not friends. I mean, not friends, but definitely she's more like the daughter of the Gina Davis and
Of the
Alec
ghosts,
Baldwin
yeah.
character. And she seemed happy that way. I don't see how she would in the ensuing years change to want to, like, oh, Beetlejuice, 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 fill me with your little Beetlejuices everywhere.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Okay,
Well, I thought the plot was that he's going after her daughter.
There could be something, yeah. But yes, you could also be going after daughter for, you know.
Oh, great,
you stiffed
incest.
me, so you
Oh my
stiffed me,
God.
so I'm going to give a stiffy to your daughter. But the thing, or she does, yeah, that's.
How do we get
horrifying.
anyway?
But also,
just real quick. Just real quick. So this is Winona Ryder in like an interview that came out like less than a month ago, right? And like, here's the thing, like, I don't think Winona Ryder is like unattractive. Like, I won't go that far, but she has this like weird look of like looking completely deranged in some photos that she's done. And like,
when Stranger Things won some sort of award, she kind of looked out of it.
She used to do heroin with Dave Pirner of Soul Asylum. I mean, like, this woman is not. It's
well,
a lot of people give her shit, but if it wasn't for her, they never would have got Bram Stoker Dracula movie. She was the one that bought the rights to the film, or for the film.
I mean, I'm trying to like compare her to Heathers, and then like her and like in this look right here. I mean, like I said,
right now she's channeling her inner Girl Interrupted look.
To be clear, goth was a thing. It just wasn't very popular. I want to be careful there. I don't want to claim to be like the first. Hey, Harper's Bazaar. I'm Winona Ryder. I'm going to be breaking down some of the characters that I've had.
Remember Harper's Bazaar?
Yeah,
yes,
right.
I do.
It's like, yeah, you just want to say like, "Hi, I'm a Winona Ryder." First question, what happened?
Well, we saw Black Swan, so we know that she was like overthrown in power.
Yeah, you know what happened? I can tell you what happened. She met Gary Oldman.
Well, yeah,
she met Gary Oldman, and yeah. But the thing is, but back to my original point, the runtime.
Yeah, I don't know. I really have no idea what the fuck.
They had a minor involvement, and then they also had a kind of love-hate relationship in Dracula, and then it just became platonic, and they remained friends to this day. But getting back to Beetlejuice 2, the runtime being cut, it's like, dude, if you're cutting down the runtime, at least leave, or at least when you're doing your digital and your physical releases for out of theater, give the fans and give the people, the audiences, the choice to watch either the theatrical or the extended. Because if you already have a final edit that was 2 hours and 30 minutes, people are going to want to see that finished product. They want to see the full context, you know?
It's got to make money, though. That can happen. That can get released like that, but
that's the thing, though,
is if it makes enough to
well, I mean, I'm sure when it gets its Criterion,
you're bringing out a bunch of people from the 80s. They're going to see this movie.
Not only that, but it's like if you make your movie. If you make your movie 2.5 hours, like, you're not going to be able to be put in as many screens as you would if it was like 100 hour and 45 minutes anyway. So that probably was a major factor in this, because I'm going to assume that this film probably is in like the range of like $20 million budget. It could be way more than that, but I would say the kind of ballpark it than that. So I mean, they really don't want to lose a hope. Like, let's be honest, Warner Brothers doesn't need to lose any more money right now. Like, they're already they just lost $10 billion like on a write off like not too long ago. They can't afford to lose anymore.
I'm genuinely surprised that Michael Keaton didn't have any fun making The Flash. I thought that would have been the most fun he would have had.
He is in it for the money. Like, if you heard what he said about Batgirl, if you heard, it's fine. You don't need to cover that. But if you look at what he's done since Birdman, he did the Spider-Man movie. He's Mr. Sellout, and that's fine. It's, hey, make your dough. You got a late start, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Make your dough.
He just wants to make a check. He just wants to check.
Hey, I respect it.
Yeah,
he's a working man.
And he was robbed of the Oscar.
Yeah,
that's right. He was.
But the thing about the cuts, it's going to be interesting how it fits into the story, because the film, I presume, was made to be 2.5 hours long, and they figured that all of these things were important to whatever plot they have. Now you're just cutting it. Is it going to be is it going to be confusing? Are there going to be some sort of continuity errors that you're not going to be able to fill in? I'm just perplexed why they decided that it needed more. I mean, I know why. Maybe to give it a shorter runtime, maybe to try to actually beef up Keaton's role in the film, if you're going to, instead of sparsing him out so often. But how is it going to work story-wise? We will find out when we see the movie. But it's an interesting call to make so late, because I presume the movie's already been sent or all ready to be released. Now you're making these last-minute edits. This isn't like when you're going to go back and do reshoots. This is you're editing parts of it that were supposed to be in the movie for some reason. Maybe they weren't. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I'm not nostalgic for Beetlejuice. I liked it. I saw it recently at a special screening, and it was entertaining. And yes, it's true. Beetlejuice is not a major part of it. I mean, he's very sparsely out. In fact, the whole thing is to not mention his name, so that he will not appear. The chaos comes when he does appear, and you needed to keep that character the way he is in the movie. If you try to make him nicer or woke or whatever you want to call it, it wouldn't work, because it's not the character. He's supposed to be outrageous.
A whorehouse.
Yes.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be outrageous. It's supposed to be. They're supposed to be fighting against him. They're not supposed to be embracing it. I never saw the cartoon, so I don't know how cuddly he was there. Maybe
15 years after The Exorcist, it's like, it's time to make a little bit of fun of this. Yeah.
Yes.
Real quick, Leslie was asking, are you sure that somebody asked, or I think it was Neo asked, who's losing more money, Disney or Warner Brothers? You must have missed out when I said, yeah, Warner Brothers just recently found out that their company was valued $10 billion less than they actually anticipated. So yeah, it's Warner by a lot, unfortunately. Not to say that Disney's faring off any better, but Warner is like, what, $45 billion in debt right now, and they still don't have the money. And they just lost the NBA on top of that. So they just lost a major sports package deal too. So yeah, Warner is hurting a lot.
Well,
right now, so.
maybe they can talk to what was that coach that just spoke at the convention. Was it Steve Kerr?
Steve Kerr.
They could talk to him. Warner Brothers could talk to him, and he can convince the future president to get the NBA back for them.
Yeah, good bailing out. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So real quick before we get to our closer here, I want to do a quick little sidebar because last week we talked about Rachel Zegler, who's probably one of the dumbest, if not the dumbest actress in Hollywood right now. I know it's a shoot, but she's not great. And we pointed out that if you look at her filmography, she's not been in anything that can be qualified as a good movie. So this is the latest trailer to a film that she has coming out not too long from now. I believe it's called the Y2K. And basically, I guess the setup of this is like, if you guys didn't know, back in the day, Y2K, people thought everyone was going to die because somehow like the computers weren't going to figure out like what year it was going to be. And then everything was going to like, planes were going to like fall out of the sky. And it was actually like one of the more...
Everyone born before 1970 thought that everyone was going to die.
Yeah, in retrospect,
you were younger than 30. You didn't think the world was going to die in 2000.
Right.
In retrospect, it was one of the like dumbest scare things that we've seen in like quite some time.
It was the pandemic before the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. So this film by Kyle Mooney stars Jonah Hill and like a few other people. Well, produced by Jonah Hill, I should say, and then a few other people. They're supposed to predict the events that happened to that Y2K crash. So we'll see. Maybe this trailer has hope for her first good movie that she's ever been in, because she hasn't had one yet.
Any lucky lady gonna get the midnight kiss?
Just talk to her, dude.
What's up, Laura?
We're actually going to this New Year's thing. It's going to be a total shit show.
Oh.
See ya.
It's 1999, and we getting drunk.
Nobody talking.
In a few hours, you have an excuse to kiss the girl of your dreams. Open up. Take us away. It's so smooth.
Y2K is real.
Someone's on the net.
Dumbass. I use gel.
Oh shit!
Oh my
Oh, Tamagotchi just drilled through a chick's head.
Come on, we gotta go.
Sweet!
We are experiencing major problems as a result of the Y2K breakdown.
Bye-bye, human race.
We're talking global computer apocalypse.
Sorry, guys. I guess you're fucked.
They made a video on everything. That's crazy. You don't know how this shit works.
Grab a bike, grab a board, grab whatever you can.
This has been the shittiest night of my life.
fuck this!
Yeah. But it's cool that we got to hang out for once.
Oh, let go!
I get knocked out, but I get up again.
Yeah, so
I
there
am
you
not
go.
watching that movie.
You're not? You are or you're not?
Nope.
So no shot.
I'm
That's going to be
not.
Rachel Zegler's first good film she's ever done.
It looks from the
That
trailer,
movie, as what's her name said in the chat, it's a couple of fucking decades too late. That movie belongs in the early 2000s. People are going to be like, what the fuck is this shit? And I'm sorry, but Jonah Hill's a fucking idiot. So,
he's
no.
producing. He's not directing.
Well,
he didn't write it.
Give a fuck if he's producing or what. Not to mention, I don't like Rachel Zegler.
Well, it just looks the trailer. It doesn't look like if it's clear if it wants to be a comedy or a horror film, and it doesn't work either as a horror or comedy, especially because we know that it's supposed to be
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in that movie to make it work.
No, not really.
Right, but that's the whole point. Is it's like this is the end, or I forget what the world's end. It's very much that comedy apocalyptic thing.
I mean, throw in super bad just to make it relevant.
Right, but to say that there's not a road to success for that, I mean that's kind of the niche right now. But I don't know. I think that movie looks like it's going to make money. So that's at least what I think.
It depends on the budget. If it's a small budget, then it can turn a profit. It really doesn't look interesting to me because I think because as someone who survived Y2K,
me too.
I don't even think that it would be. I don't even think it would be scary or funny in an alternate world. Something about it just doesn't appeal to me. And then you also are getting this kind of standard story of the guy who wants to be with the girl of his dreams, and it seems more like a throwback to an 80s style. It reminded me of that Can't Hardly Wait that we saw.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was 10. You know what I mean? Like I was 10, so it's not like I was their age, but it is more reflective of the movies that came out when I was growing up. In that, oh hey, there's some earnest like, hey, obviously I'm attracted to this girl, but I don't know what to say or how to approach her. And hey, there's this event that's going to present an opportunity, kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm at least open to it not being completely terrible, but like everything that comes out of Hollywood these days, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for people who are kind of their age at the time of the movie.
Yeah,
how they're going to see it, because I don't.
I mean, we drank 40s, but I was 18 in 2007, so it's a little bit different.
No, well, I've been trying to remember. Like, I don't remember all these kind of stoned hippie type people, but then I probably wouldn't be hanging around people like
that. Reminds me of like Roger Ebert saying the rules of attraction was unrealistic because you have naked women handing out like party treats, and it's like, oh, Roger, I'm sorry, you were never invited to those parties. That's very obvious.
Well, I do have one last topic here to discuss here before we end things for tonight, and this is kind of a rumor at this important stage, but I guess it has somewhat credibility that this is something that could happen in the future. This is Sydney Sweeney possibly becoming Black Cat in the MCU, which to me would be absolutely hilarious on a multitude of levels, because I know that this is going to start a race war. So let's rewind here just for a second, just in case you guys didn't know. Sydney Sweeney is basically like the Hollywood it girl now. She's in everything, like everywhere, all at once. And so that's the name of a movie that was out there not too long ago. But so there's rumors that they're going to have her play Black Cat in the MCU. Now, she was just in a Sony movie called Madam Web, which was not very good, and that was like an alternate universe Spider-Man. It was very confusing. It wasn't very well thought out, but she played one of the Spider-Women, one of the variations of Spider-Woman in that film. And they plan on having her play Black Cat in this film, which will put her as the seductress to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. As we all know, Tom Holland is in a relationship with Zendaya at the moment too. So, and then of course Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney are both on the show Euphoria. So of course there's always arguments on Twitter, but more particularly Black Twitter, about who's more attractive. And I know they really don't like Sydney Sweeney because she's white, and they always have to overhype Zendaya because she's black. So it'll be hilarious to watch this two happen on the big screen. But let's just go here. According to a new whisper from the rumor wheel here, that they're looking at bringing Sydney Sweeney as Black Cat over to the MCU. They haven't announced that they're going to do like a 4th Spider-Man movie, but I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't at this point. The last Spider-Man movie did almost $2 billion. So, I mean, there's definitely, there's no way they're going to pass up that money, even if Sony's going to get 75% of it. It's just not going to happen. The word is that City can undergo her own cinematic universe redemption arc by... Because we're in the multiverse saga, so it's like we can't even say that. Well, she was the other character in the other movie. It's like, no, it doesn't matter now because we're in the multiverse. But My Time Shine Hello, who was had a lot of good scoops here, is saying that they're looking into having her for this film. Looking at it here, it says that Amy Pascal and I are working on it, talking about Spider-Man 4. That's the Tom Holland one, not the Tobey Maguire one. No, a lot of people were asking about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4. Probably not going to happen. But
we're going to screw over Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, nobody wants Andrew Garfield anymore. We have writers. This is Kevin Feige talking about. Said we have writers who are going to be delivering us a draft relatively soon. That Sydney Sweeney is a hot commodity, and casting her in practically any superhero related role would be easy to be a believable move in any project looking for widespread audience and popularity. This rumor should be taken with a heavy dose of salt. However, Sweeney is Black Cat, a highly flirty cat burglar. So I mean, it's basically like Marvel's Catwoman. I mean, I know the nerds probably get very angry at me saying that, but I mean, it's really what it is. We just call it what it is. So yeah, you're looking at a possibility here of that if this were to happen, you would have Zendaya as MJ, once again MJ, versus Sydney Sweeney as Black Cat. And somehow it's going to be very hilarious to watch this happen. In the context of this film, Tom Holland Spider-Man is going to have to pretend that somehow he would actually want Zendaya MJ over Black Sweat Sydney Sweeney, and we're also supposed to completely buy into it and not ask any questions, because any other further questions regarding that would be absolutely 100% racist, and you don't want to be a bigot now, do you?
That's
This
called
is Tom
acting.
Holland saying,
True.
"Honest, honey, I didn't kiss her."
This is acting.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that,
and that's going to require a lot of acting. Let's just put it that way.
Acting?
I'm sorry, if you put Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney in front of me and told me that if I had a gun in my head and I had to choose between the two, I'm picking Sweeney, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to Zendaya, but Sweeney's just a little bit more likable. I don't know a lot about her. It's not the boobs. It's just I just don't like Zendaya.
I just like
this is
what
what
the Euphoria girls.
Smiles.
It's the two girls from Euphoria.
Exactly, and there's been this big discourse online. Like I said, Sydney Sweeney's gotten a lot of attention over the last year or so, and like I said, Black Twitter doesn't like that, so they try to make it seem like that Zendaya is like just as attractive as Sydney Sweeney. I'm like, look, guys, you guys are trying relatively way too hard to make this whole thing work.
First off, I think it's slightly more unbelievable. You said about Tom Holland picking Zendaya over Sydney Sweeney. Isn't it slightly more unbelievable that these two women would be fighting over Tom Holland?
Yes.
If he has superpowers, probably not. That's kind of
that's a good call.
Yeah.
All he's
So
got
it does
is
make up
really
for a lot,
sticky
you know.
jizz.
What?
And
No,
radioactive
he has the web
jizz,
shooters. Oh yeah, that part. Yeah.
Yeah, but not many people know that nobody knows that he's a Spider-Man. You can't
killed
use
Mary
that
Jane
because
in
remember,
one of those universes
remember he had them wipe out the memory of everyone, so nobody remembered that he was Spider-Man.
And it screwed up the entire multiverse.
Yep.
Oh, picky. I mean, just the feels. Just go with
So,
the feels.
The thing is, as I said in the bounding video about this, like Tom Holland himself is going to have to be very, very, very careful with this, because there is no way Zendaya herself does not get protective of her boyfriend or fiance, whatever they are, with Sydney Sweeney laying her talents all over him in order to portray the Black Cat and Spider-Man's proper relationship as we've seen it in the animated series as well as the comics. So we're going to have a very interesting time on set where you have a clearly more attractive female rubbing herself all over your fella, and good old Zendaya is going to have to stay quiet about it. And I don't see that happening.
Well, maybe they could tie her up with more Dune movies. I don't know.
I mean, really, what would you do as Peter? What are you doing? You have superpowers. What are you doing? Okay, like seriously, what are you doing?
I said this a while ago, just a really like slight aside here. It's like if I was Austin Butler, I would just be trying to date Sydney Sweeney. So that's what I would be doing at 32 years old. So to answer your question, yeah, it's
33.
just very simple. It's Sydney Sweeney. It's ridiculous. Listen, and I've said this before. I'm immune to the new hot girl on the scene. I'm sorry. Like some of the pictures that I see on my Twitter of Sydney Sweeney, I'm just like, can I? It's like that scene in The Mummy, where the brother's like, can we just stop? Can we take something? And they're like, no, but can't we just, no, we can't. So it's hands down. It's Sydney. Usually don't gush over women's beauty on the podcast, but God, that woman's so fucking hot.
Right. And then you got that.
Yeah. And listen, I have said on the record, okay, with a straight face, I think Zendaya is an attractive girl, okay? But it's like, she looks like Eartha Kitt. If you know who Eartha Kitt was, it's like, yeah, some guys would probably find that attractive, but, not the most glamorous or beautiful woman, but, talented in her own right and memorable and so I think Zendaya has talent. I think it's no comparison, but yes, I think she's good looking in her own right, in her own way. She is a model after all, like whatever. But I think she's very versatile with her looks. But yeah, come on, this is a no contest. Sydney Sweeney is like out of the pages of a comic book, heroine, superhero, anti-hero. Like, I know that character's more like, not a hero or not a villain, but very much fits the bill.
I'm just curious as to how people are going to say, well, how is she one of the Spider Women, and now she's a Black Cat, and they're going to try to tie this all into like one cohesive story, when you just say, well, she's an actress and she's playing two different characters in two different films, and they don't have to tie themselves together. But hey,
spandex.
If she is cast in this film, good for her. It's another step in her career. She's obviously trying to be in more movies and build up her career. She's not at the level where she can open a film, because Immaculate, I think she was not, that wasn't a hit. But good on her.
The one she did before that one, the Anyone But You, was apparently a big hit. So I mean, there's that.
Well, I mean, it also had Glenn Powell.
And remember, this is not the first, technically, if to play off what Cider was saying, she has technically broken up a relationship. Because Glenn Powell broke up with his girlfriend. I mean, apparently nothing happened. Apparently, but yeah, it's
sure. We were totally going to believe that two attractive people in Hollywood didn't hook up behind the scenes. Because why would they?
It's gone on for years. That goes back years. I mean, that's a very famous thing that just occurs, unfortunately, or fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it. But yeah.
But no, I don't imagine that there'll be any actual cat fights. And hopefully, both of them, if she is cast in the new Spider-Man movie, and I don't know why anyone would want to see more Spider-Man movies, but if she
the last one made $2 billion.
Well, yes, but there's no accounting for taste. If she is cast, I'm hoping that everyone there will be professional. If Zendaya is so insecure that she needs to hover over her boyfriend, which is possible because she does tower over him, that's her business. But I would not do it. I would trust Tom Holland enough with I would trust Tom Holland enough with Sydney Sweeney to not be worried that she's like some sort of temptress who will
probably didn't help that these photos went viral like literally the day this news went out there. So it's like
it's funny because it looks like she's in Washington right now. Because if you look at the trees, I'm like, those are evergreens. I swear.
Her family is in, I think, either Washington or Oregon or one of those two. Yeah.
So no, I mean, good on her to be in a movie that's going to draw more attention to her career, Zendaya, she shouldn't worry if she trusts her boy.
If Zendaya was really that concerned, she would have stopped her boyfriend from getting booty gooned by a black dude in that other movie. So don't try to get all emotional now that he's gonna be with a hot blonde for 2 hours.
That was for a role, sir. I mean, he's an actor.
Yeah,
That's the whole point. The whole point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some other photos on here that I can't show on Twitter, but you guys get the idea. At this point.
Yep.
So, any other thoughts on this one before we wrap things up and get on out of here?
Just real quick, that on Instagram, because I think that's where the pictures originated. Like, I think it was the Titans wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. She said, "I think this is what's called a thirst trap," and DeAndre Hopkins just commented, "Trapped," just a very obvious approval of the photos. It's like, hey man, just get the leg, get the leg right before week 1, please.
It's a shame that we're ignoring the depth of her actual acting talent.
Who cares? Oh my God, who cares?
You
understand?
I don't Broadway by storm.
I do not give that pass to anybody. I tear down every single person if I can, and you know what? I just don't care to. She is beautiful just how she is. Okay, so and if she's an actual actress on top of it, great.
Well, when she's cast as a young Eleanor Roosevelt, I'm sure that you will that you will just be watching to see.
Again, another stellar joke. Boy, do you suck. Why don't you sew up that pussy and grow a dick? We might get a joke out of you. God damn it.
Well, that was based on the notion that oh my gosh. That was based on the notion that you knew. I mean, I could mention other people that you would know.
Can you show that on YouTube? I don't know if you can show that on YouTube. That's a lot of Sydney Sweeney there.
Yeah. I'm sure Zendaya.
What's that expression? So demure.
Well, and that's just it. It's like, I don't think there's any way to produce this Spider-Man movie without massive emotional backlash on the set. Like these two getting into it. And they're not, that may be funneled into the movie, but again, I don't know if you trust either one of them not to actually bare claws and go at it. You got to remember, they get ferocious when they get competitive. It's a lot different than how men get.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm trusting that they will both be professional and mature and handle this like adults as they produce a movie about a man with spider powers. All right.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. What you said.
Yes.
That's
yes.
where we go.
People will behave like adults, and then she can always, honestly, if Zendaya is so worried, she can run off with Timothée Chalamet and go off with him.
I mean,
yeah, they got Dune 6 coming out.
Yeah,
soon,
so there you go. She can bounce back.
I mean, as Rick, you got to think about it. We're 5'7". These two guys give us hope, right? That he can end up with supermodels and things like that if you got spider powers and you're king of a desert.
Yeah, but you're not actually Spider-Man though. You have to either be Spider-Man or you have to be jumping out of a moving plane like Tom Cruise.
I haven't gotten bit by a radioactive spider yet. Now have I? Right? And I could be the king of a desert planet. You don't know. This could be a really fancy background. You don't know.
I'll throw one in a microwave and send it to you. How about that?
Something. Yeah.
Would you end up with nacho powers then? Or how would that work?
I have no idea.
You should jump in the bathtub and become Toaster Man. You can always do that.
It would be irradiated.
That's how the Flash got his powers.
Yep. But yeah, that's all. That's all I have to contribute before we hear another one of Rick's lame jokes. Let's go ahead and end this show. Thank you guys very much for joining us here, and I'm going to shoot this one over to you guys so you guys can tell us what you got coming on. We're going to start with this guy over here. Don't go to the orange side. That's the theme for tonight's show. So take it away, Orange Hat. What you got?
Well, tomorrow is Jade Shadow on her channel. We're talking Kill Bill Volume 1. Thursday, 8:30 p.m. exclusively on X on my Orange Hat 2185. We're talking G.I. Jane. And Friday's Orange Hat Uncensored. Sunday is the weekly recap. I will be going over the failure of The Acolyte with my friend Kate and possibly Ambassadorial Link. Monday night rants. I will be doing some ranting over there, and if you guys or if anybody wants to come on, it is an open invite to Monday night rants. 4 people on at a time. That's it. Due to overtaxing my Chromebook. Then Tuesdays are theme streams. Next week, I am finishing out Badass Actors with Keanu Reeves. So with that, Tuesday night's Barroom. So yeah.
All right, then we're gonna jump over to our buddy Cider here. What you got coming up?
Just check out Bounding, and tomorrow night we have 01 over on the Bounding YouTube channel, and that's where we talk about all the stuff we got up on the website. Tune in for it, and Nerdigans and I do the Tokyo Happy Hour. Sometimes Jacob shows up when he feels like it.
When I feel like it. I'm glad you put in that outlier there. That's very important.
There's no other reason. You're certainly not a busy man.
No.
No, nobody is busy. Hi guys, it's been another wonderful episode of the Barroom Podcast, and thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I got nothing.
He really does mean that. He didn't mean it in a sarcastic way.
No, I do mean that. Yeah, this is just my delivery all the time because I'm severely depressed. But no, that's okay.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have a podcast out at some point and reviews. And I unmuted like 12,000 accounts today on my Twitter, so hopefully traffic will be going a lot better. But yeah, so just follow me over there. That's kind of where I am. That's where I spend most of my time. We're gonna watch a movie on Friday with Channing Tatum and Zoe Kravitz. It's 2024. Can we end it already? No. So yeah, just keep track of my Twitter. That's about it. And go watch some movies.
Rick.
Well, I'm finishing up my Summer Under the Stars series, thank heavens. And I'll be starting more reviews. I should be finishing up my Omen retrospective pretty soon, because I'll finally review the first Omen and maybe revive. Now that the Summer Under the Stars is over, I can revive my Golden Girls retrospective. And yeah, I've got more reviews, including that Don't Blink. So I'm looking forward to that. That, and maybe I'll sneak in The Crow, the remake, because I've never seen the original. So yeah, really just the Summer of the Star series, the ending of the Omen retrospective, more reviews, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That man is evil, I tell you.
Evil.
Oh, hey, everyone.
Hey.
I just wanted to say hi, and hope you all enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
He reminds me of Jerry Garcia at the end of Half Baked.
Very, very much.
All right, then. I'll just go ahead and shoot this one over to you guys. Let you know what I got coming up. Like I said, tomorrow night I'll be over at 01 or Tokyo Happy. I don't know what the show's called anymore, but we'll be there on Bound to Get in Comics with Cider and Nerdigans and all the other people there, talking about all the stuff and the things that are happening. There's a lot of stuff and things happening in the world, so go check that out tomorrow night. This Friday, we will be doing a Friday night movie club on the, Blink Twice, which is the Zoe Kravitz movie, or as I have to call it, the Jeffrey Epstein movie. Hopefully it's something actually worth talking about, not a gigantic waste of time. So we got that coming up on Friday night. This coming Sunday, I'll be doing the next episode of the Bible Lens podcast. I'll be talking about how the pre-wrath rapture view pretty much sets you up for the false prophet of the Bible. We'll talk about how exactly that whole thing works out this Sunday. And then Tuesday, we'll be back talking about more stuff and things that happen in the world. I know one of the things that I didn't get a chance to add on tonight was the whole Lady Gaga situation and the upcoming Joker 2 movies. I know that's going to be one of our topics. And then I don't think there's any other movie worth talking about. Do you guys want to come here and talk about The Crow on Tuesday? Do you guys care to do that?
Maybe.
No.
I might watch it. I'll let you know on Friday if I watch it.
I mean, Rob's already dealing with depression. I don't think he wants to be any more depressed. So I know we'll talk about it over it, and we'll come to a conclusion somewhere over
We
there.
love you, Robert.
Outside of that, I want to thank everyone.
The original cast members destroyed or excoriated that movie. all the original cast members of the original Crow, aside from Brendan Lee, due to the fact he's dead, basically tore the remake a new one.
Michael Wincott too.
I heard.
I believe Michael Wincott has also. He's like, they made a new one. Yeah, I ain't interested. He's just so blocked.
We definitely need to check that one out too. So everyone who joined us here on our Rumble side of things, thank Keith, thank MAGA OG for joining us over there. For everyone who joined us here tonight on Twitch and on YouTube, thank you very much. I do have a outro for you guys. Like I said, a new outro to thank all of you guys individually. So I'll have to read all your guys' names because I can't read and I'm tired. So we're not going to do that. So adios, goodbye, and remember, never pick the orange side. Good night.
Fuck you.
Okay. Oh.
Making your way through the daily grind takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to tune away? All those nights when you're feeling low, the rent is overdue, and your coffee maker's broken, your luck just seems to skew, and your boss is always on your case. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed and you feel the dread. The morning's looking bleak. The morning's and your internet is down again. You haven't slept all week, and your car just broke down on the way. Be glad there's a place online where you can feel at ease. In the barroom, podcast friends, we share our thoughts and tease. Every story shared, every laugh so free. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. So here's to the moments we all hold dear. In this ballroom of the airwaves with friends so near. Every story shared, every heartfelt cheer. It's more than just a podcast, it's where we steer.
I still don't feel like I know how to shoot these things.